ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create a platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom. Our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10. All right, welcome back. And the program is still Dialogue in Diaspora, coming to you live from Ben Television. As we said earlier on before we went on a short break, I'm supposed to have two guests in the show today. I said to you we're going to be having two sessions. One will be talking about Nigeria, and that is as a result of the quiz that was put out on CNN yesterday, Sunday, at on Sakaria's program, where he asked, and we'll be asking you same question on this program, but we will not discuss this until after this segment because my guests that were supposed to look at this with me are fairly running, so I'm taking my second guest on the show. But let me quickly throw out that question to you that was put on CNN yesterday. The question read, name the head of state from which country that has not set foot on its homeland in over 2 months. And A, Saudi Arabia's king, 2, Cuba, 3, Nigeria, D, Syria. And of course, we all know what the answers. We all know what the answers is. The head of state from the country that has not set foot in its homeland over 2 months. And so I put it to you today that as Nigeria become a joke on international scene and international media, where issues around Nigeria and the presidency will become an international quiz for people to answer. That doesn't sound very funny, is it? That's what we're taking a look at in the course of the program. When my political guests arrive, we'll be reviewing this. Has Nigeria become an international joke? But anyway, while I take my second guest now, you might want to call in and share your opinion and answer that quiz. Let me repeat the quiz question again from CNN yesterday evening. The quiz question is, the head of state from which country has not set foot in its homeland in over 2 months? 1, Saudi Arabia. 2, Cuba. 3, Nigeria. 4, Syria. That's a question. If you call in and get the answer, you might be able to win a trip. I don't know. You're welcome to the program and it's Dialogue in Diaspora this beautiful Monday morning. Let me bring to you my guest was supposed to be my second guest in the second segment, but it's very well on time while I'm still waiting for my main political guests who are held up in traffic. Let me quickly go on to this guest. His name is Olayinka Adeni Adepoju. Olayinka Adeni Adepoju is an evangelist, and he is a gospel singer here in the United Kingdom who has traveled around the world. Olayinka, thank you for joining us on the program today.
You're welcome.
Can I throw this quiz question that was put on CNN to you? I don't know how familiar you are with issues around political development in Nigeria. But if you answer that question, I might be able to keep you longer on the show than expected.
Okay, that's lovely.
This is the question, and you've got 2 seconds to give me the appropriate answer. The head of state from which country has not set foot in its homeland in over 2 months? 1, Saudi Arabia. 2, Cuba. 3, Nigeria. 4, Syria.
3, Nigeria.
Why did you choose Nigeria?
Everybody knows. It's all over the media. I mean, that president has been in United Kingdom, you know, for a while, I think, on 8 issue, and up to now, no update. Everybody's even still dazzling around. Maybe is he still alive or he's dead? Nobody knows. But however, it's Nigeria.
It's Nigeria.
Yeah.
We're laughing over this, but is it really a laughing matter that when issues and discourse around the president of the most populous African nation becomes a quiz on international media? Is it really funny?
Yeah, it's not that funny because it's just as if, what I can say, it's as if they're really ridiculing our country. Yeah, at which there's no update. Update about his health or how he feels. I mean, in a country of ours that we know, a popular country in the whole universe. I won't say
Over
only
180 million people.
Yeah, we're supposed to update our citizens to let them know the situation, what happens to our president. I mean, his health review. I mean, just to let people know. That is why they give all other international community to be taking us as if
Messing the country back.
exactly.
Okay, let's go to the one that actually concerns you the more. You are a gospel artist.
Yes.
How did you get into singing or being a gospel artist?
Yeah, I can say it's my talent. It's what I grew up to be. I can say I started singing from age 7. Yeah, because my father used to be a priest. I grew up in the vicarage, and from there I just developed it. It has been in me. It's what the Lord has deposited in me, despite my professional background. Yeah.
So you do have a career that you pursue, and that is a kind of singing is a kind of a gift and a kind of talent you also pursue, but you do have your own career.
Oh yeah, I do have my own career right
Now
from
let's
onset.
put it this way. Tell us how far this gift, your singing musical career has taken you. How far?
To God be the glory, because I never knew that I can ever be in this position in life, because I came out from a poor background, and my father died when I was 14 years old. It took the grace of God for my old age mother, to bring us up, and with what I am today, my talent put me to realize. It's my talent that paved way for me. Some people don't even know that I've got an educational background. Some people don't even know I've got a profession. All what they know is that Alore, he sing praises to God. And that's what my talents have really done for me. Even establishing me in UK to this level is my talent.
I have come across you in a couple of international scenes. Not one or twice. I've seen you on international flight. I've seen you on international occasions singing. I've met you across the world singing, and I can imagine how much pride you must have brought to yourself as a singer, as a gospel artist. Why did you choose gospel?
Why I choose gospel is not by my power or by might. It's not by my wisdom. I can say it's by calling. Because before, when I started, I used to do all the secular music as well. I started quite young, very young. And along the line, when I was in school, going to school, I used to play all the secular music. But by the time I graduated, and then I started working, yeah, I had the voice, and also prophecy that I've called you to win soul for my kingdom. I don't want you going out there singing secular music. I want you to preach my gospel. And when I had the voice, I asked for sign, because sometimes when things are not get clear to me, I just ask God, Father, how do you want me to move? I want a sign. I want you to let me know that you are the one that called me. And he really gave me sign. He says, anywhere I sing his praises, heaven will open. He will surely manifest himself. And to God be the glory. Anywhere I am, once I lay my mouth to sing his praises, it reveals himself. I can say that is the way I know that I've got the calling. It's not by my power or by my might.
Let's talk about talent. You spoke about not very many people actually know you even have basic academic education or basic career that you're pursuing, that is actually your daily job that you do. What most people actually know you with is Alore, a gospel artist. Very few people actually know that Alore has got a professional career that he pursues that pays his bill. But talking about talent, there are people out there that are not, they are yet to identify their talents. what are the tips you want to give people to say, you know what, you should be able to identify your talent and pursue it? Do you want to advise my viewers, young viewers at home, to say, giving them tips about identifying talents and gifting them?
Yeah, I can say there's no one on earth that God hasn't given you that talent. You know, there's no way how. All what you just need to do is just to get yourself right. You know, there must be something in you that you like or you love doing that makes you happy. Once you can tap into it, oh, I love doing this thing. I'm happy while doing it. Yeah, it's what the Lord has deposited in you. Tap into it. Keep on doing it. It will surely pave way for you, no matter how hard it is. But however, I know once you enjoy doing it and it inspires you, everywhere you go, you like doing it. Yeah, you can see some people that develop their talents. Some like playing ball, some like singing, some like playing instrument, you know. But they once you know that this is what you like, and I know that is what the Lord has deposited in you, just keep doing it. Never relent your effort. It can be hard in some areas, it can be tough, yeah, and then keep on, I can say keep on educating yourself about it as well, moving with people that are more intellectual, those who are, have got more experience in it, move closer to them, you know, and then keep on learning. You know, this life is about...
Get a mentor in
that area, yeah, and then keep on moving on it. That's it.
Awesome, awesome. Let me ask you this question. How many albums have you released? Have you released any album?
Yeah, my first album was Fibayemi. Fibayemi. That was in 2002. Yeah, I remember. That was in that was in 2004. Fibayemi is in 2004. Before that, I released that album to the church, you know. But my first personal album, yeah, is in 2004. I sang Fibayemi. I was still then struggling on heart then, and after that, I released Divine Call. That's when I had my calling. I called that one Divine Call, and the third one is Total Appreciation. When the Lord established me in this country, from nowhere, He turned me to somebody. Yeah, I call it Divine Call. And
Total Appreciation.
Yeah, I call it Total Appreciation. That was the third one, and then the one in pipeline now.
Your latest album.
Yeah, the latest one now is 2 in 1.
Okay.
It is I can call it 4 and 5 because I call it celebration, but inside it as well I've got total grace in it. Yeah, I call it celebration, not just to celebrate our God for His goodness, for all what He has done. You know.
And the other one in that album?
In that album is Total Grace. That's why I'm having 2 in 1, 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
What inspired you into the 4 and 5?
What really inspired me to the 4 and 5 is that I can say 20 years ago, you know, when my church was celebrating 58 Golden Jubilee, I was nobody. But I've got in mind that, Daddy, I want to be in a position to celebrate you, you know, to praise you, to tell the world that you are worthy of our praise, you know. And in a new dimension, when the Lord's going to establish me, after that 20 years journey, He never established me, let's say, in Nigeria to do it. And He has already established me in a global way. I mean, I'm a British today, to God be the glory. And after that, for what He has done, from nobody to somebody. And that is what really inspired me, that Daddy, I will give everything you've added unto me, I will dedicate it to you as well. I will give it unto you because you're worthy of our praises.
Awesome, fantastic. And so is the album released already? Is it in market?
It's not yet in market.
What is it about?
Yeah, the launching is coming up.
So you want to launch the album?
Yeah, I want to launch the album on Saturday, 12th of August, 2017.
On Saturday,
12th August, 2017.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah. The album launch is coming up on Saturday, 12th of August, 2017 at Aries Academy, Peckham High Street. Yeah, in which I just want to establish to the people of the world that our God is worthy of all praises. He's the one and only that we're supposed to exalt, give all praises on. No matter the situation you are, he knows. He created you, and he made sure that everything I created is perfected. And I know that once he has mentioned that, you don't need to be bothered. No matter your trials, no matter the tribulations, you will surely get to your destiny. That's it.
So that is going to be on Saturday, 12th of August, 2017. What time is it?
Yeah, it's going to be between 2 and 8 p.m.
2 and 8 p.m.
Yeah,
at Harris Academy.
Harris Academy.
And that's at 112 Peckham High Street.
High Street. Yeah,
Are you
SC15.
expecting other gospel artists, guest artists to join you on the day?
Yeah, exactly. I'm expecting all CCC choristers from all parishes, and after that, the mass choir of the Celestian and CNS, because we just inaugurated Von Mass Choir, for this, I'm celebrating the Comforter. They're also coming on board. And after that, I've also got a list of gospel artists from Nigeria, from UK here as well, that a lot of them are coming together. We are coming together to praise him, to give all praises to our God.
Free, or you got this money to pay to come in? Is it free?
No, it's free. It's free. Because the Lord has given us that grace. It's free for everybody, no matter your denominations. We are praising one God. The entry is free. Come and let us praise him and give him all adoration.
All right. For some, I've been talking with Olayinka Adeniyi Adepoju, evangelist that is popularly known across the world as Alore. He's of the Alore Christ Royal Singers International, and he's talking about his career, his other career, because of course he's got a professional career. His other career that I said has paved the way for him. That is his gospel music, and he's launching his album. He called it 2-in-1, 4 and 5 musical album on the 12th of August 2017, 2 p.m. at Harris Academy. That is located at 112 Peckham High Street, London, SC15 5DZ. And he said it's all free, no money. If you want to join him to praise God, to listen to exclusive gospel music that can inspire you, I think Saturday 12th of August 2017 will be the day you should put in your calendar. Alori, before I let it go, quickly, let me ask you these questions about what you think about music these days. Generally, there are all kinds of music these days. Do you think music has had positive impacts on the current generation of youth?
That's a really I can say a really big question. Yeah, that's a really big question. For you to know, let me just tell you. Yeah, when it's music, the impact of music, the impact of it, I can say, in some areas it has positive impact, but in some areas as well, it's got its negative impact, because mostly, I can say, most artists now, they are not getting their priority right. Most of them, what they put forward is, or the mission is a profit they want to make. It's what they want to get from it, not that what they want to impact to their community or to the young ones coming. Because if you look at all the music we're listening to, most of them are even corrupt. They're not even preaching the gospel. And after that, if you can see the link now, we don't even know gospel artists, the difference between the gospel artist now to the secular music artist. They now mingle things together, which shouldn't be. And from there, the music started corrupting our youth. Most of them are not even having focus about what they want to be in life. And in some areas, some are still on the line preaching the gospel, letting our youths to know that you need to move closer to your Creator. Paving way for them, to let them know that all you need to do in life to be there is for you to be focused and to, to believe in your God, worship Him, and give all glory to Him. You know, and that's why I would say it has been in two sides. Some impacts to our youth positively, some negatively.
If I can add to that, somebody called me last time I was in Nigeria. I said, look, almost every young person in Nigeria now wants to sing. They want to sing
Hip hop.
Everybody wants to be on TV. They want to have fame. Very few people really want to go to go to university, get education. They just want to sing, and what they want to sing is hip hop. And the person said, I don't blame them, because you go to university, you spend 4, 5, 6 years in the university, you leave the university, you don't even have a job. But will that be an excuse?
I don't think that should be an excuse. I used to tell people, I can say, because I started I became a choir master when I was young, and when I was a choir master, far back at home in Nigeria, I used to have like 30 minutes before the end of the choir rehearsal. I used to educate them that no matter where you find yourself with your talent, you need to have an educational background, something that you can learn on, something that can boost your standard, something that will make you know that you've got tomorrow. And even with that education, you'll be able to build a better platform for yourself in your talent. Because when you have a talent and educationally you're not sound, there will be a limitation to how you can expand on that talent, or to how you can get more from that talent. But with your educational background, you'll be able to think versatily. And it also creates a what we call a connectivity for you. You'll be able to connect to the right people at the right time that will link you to your success. And that's why I used to tell people, never in life, stop to educate yourself. You know, and so many people, I can say, what really is a corrupt society far back home, because if the society is corrupt, they will never let the youth say. But in some areas, I used to tell them, yeah, I can remember far back home, after my youth service as well, I was home for a year, no anything. I was surviving with the music. I play here and there. But however, after, there's no way how. For a child of God, God will surely make a way for you. Once you have that positive mind, that you will get there. Yeah, and after that, I got a job, started working in a finance, in a finance institute, and from there, I found myself where I am today. But my talent still there. To use my talent to praise God, to appreciate Him for all He has done. And that's why I don't like people hiding on the if there's no work, no job there, no, you don't need to hide on that. I behind that. You just need to look at, no matter how, there's no, like one of my father used to say, KH, like, you're clear meeting, because one of my mentors, he said that there's no way how in life, you know, there's no knowledge wasted. You keep on acquiring knowledge. And that's what really, up to now,
keep on acquiring knowledge. No knowledge is ever wasted in life. If you're watching this program, if you're a young person, you have just heard it from Alori Olayinka Adepoju saying, keep on acquiring knowledge. No knowledge is ever wasted. If you're not knowledgeable, if you're not educated, you're not going to be able to get the best out of your talent. And that's a very important. I want to end that session with that very important quote from Alori Adepoju. Keep on acquiring knowledge. No knowledge is ever lost. With your talent, you're able to exploit it to the fullest and get the best out of it. Evangelist Olayinka Adeni Adepoju, aka Alori, thank you for joining us on BN Television today. Quickly again, your album launch is on Saturday, 12th of August 2017.
Yes.
What time is it?
It's going to be between 2 p.m. to 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Venue?
Venue, Aris Academy, London, SC15, Peckham High Street.
And it's free for all.
It's free.
So everybody's invited.
You are welcome. No matter your denominations, just pop in and come and praise God with us.
All right, Lore, thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck
Thanks.
on the day.
Thank you.
We conclude this segment. Don't forget our quiz question. We did not set the quiz question. The quiz question was on CNN yesterday. And the quiz question, I repeat the quiz question, and which is going to be our topic of discussion today. Which head of state and from which country has not set foot on the homeland in over 2 months? That was a quiz question on Sakaria's program on CNN yesterday, Sunday. That is the question we'll be looking at on the program today. And he gave options. There are options. There's Syria, there's Cuba as options A, B, C, D that we can take. My guest has chosen Nigeria as that is popular, that is known all over the world, that Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari is the one that has not set foot on his country in the last 2 months. What is your opinion? What do you think? We'll come back after this break and we'll continue with the program. Don't go away. As part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create the platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom, our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10. All right, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us on the program. Let's repeat our quiz question, which is the main topic for our discussion today on the show, as put out by CNN Farid Zakaria on CNN when on Sunday, just yesterday. We are asked which head of state from which country has not set foot in his homeland in over 2 months. A, Saudi Arabia, Cuba, Nigeria, Syria. I put the question to my guest. One of my guests has joined me in the studio, Fatai Ogunribido. Fatai, which head of state from which country has not set foot on his homeland in the last 2 months? It's not my question. So CNN quiz question on Sunday, yesterday.
Well, if I may answer the guess, well, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Oh, yes, obviously, it is.
But it could have been Cuba. And it could have been.
Well, I don't think there is any news that portrays Cuba as having been run without its proper leader in the past 2 months. The only obvious answer is Nigeria. And that's why I say your guess is as good as mine. So,
what does it make Nigeria? If Nigeria is becoming an international quiz on international media, on international space, what does it make Nigeria? What does it make President Muhammadu Buhari?
Can I tell you today, it is really tragic. If you know where God places Nigeria in the map of the world, I swear to God, you'll be crying for Nigeria. Nigeria has been made to be a beacon of hope for the black human race. That is a center of peace, a center of religious emancipation, a center of economic, strategy for the black race. Let me tell you, in the early 70s when we were growing up and up to early 80s, every black American, the way we saw in Nigeria then, wants to actually affiliate with Nigeria. If any musician in America rises up in America, the other home for that black musician is Nigeria. You think it's a Nigerian. Such is the way the entire black world owns Nigeria. Africa. I was in Kenya, that was far back to, I think, was 1982. In Kenya, every man going on the street of Kenya perceived Nigeria as the United States of Africa. The same perception they have of the proper US is the same perception they had about the nation called Nigeria. And you can now see, if we are now being mocked by the world media, it is really tear drawing. And I look at myself, and I was thinking, should I give up hope about Nigeria? Because we try to sensitize people about how Nigeria is being undermined, how Nigeria has been hijacked by a few who are the Keba members, even though directly or indirectly being used by... What we have now is no more the colonial master, it is the Keba master. And a country deserves its type of leadership. If as Nigerians, we are still dancing to the tune of this Keba, their lies, their make-believes, their propaganda, and yet we are not being sensitized as to know that that country is under serious threat. Not only economic threat, but social anarchy. We are all playing. It's like we are sleeping, we are slumbering. That is the truth about Nigeria as of today. Nigeria is a country so much endowed. The more we are being depleted, the more God is making us to rise up. The more we are being pushed down by the big power who doesn't want goodness for Nigeria, the more God is making Nigeria glory to shine to the world to see. Even though we are not in full control, but by every indication, it has now shown that God's hand is in Nigeria. But the point is, it's like He created human race. He said, go to the world, giving us every freedom of thought, freedom of action and everything. So whatever we do, the only consequence of our action is going to be in the result that comes about. That is, when you do good, you are going to get good. When you do bad, you are going to be rewarded accordingly. This is the way Nigeria, the way we are. God has created Nigeria to be great. We that God has given that country, what have we made of it? We are messing it up, and the consequence of that is imminent, because everybody that is actually undermining Nigeria today, sending Nigeria out, and those who are covering their past records and trying to enforce a leadership that we don't deserve, their punishment is it's natural, it's coming. It's a tragedy.
The political party of Mr. President, that's the All Progressive Congress, including the handlers of the president, they seem to not to get this very clearly, as they normally criticize and will criticize anyone that does ask questions about Mr. President's state of health or his absence in the country. Will they be able to criticize the CNN and other international organizations now taking a jab at Nigeria's current situation and that of its president?
Today, let me tell you something. I mean, when you are over 45 years as Nigerian, and you still call descent to the lies and all the make-believes of past government, then you are a failure. I challenge anybody to tell me, because we were, it's about, I think about this, about 32 to 33 years in journalism now. I worked in Nigeria for several years. I was in Punch for several years. I worked with the other many media houses. And I think my perception, because in Nigeria, Punch is the most independent newspaper. Maybe the orientation I was given and the perception I had then, as the way Nigeria was being governed and the way we were given assignments, made me to understand better. Because many of my friends who are actually journalists, who are colleagues of mine, even when you see because they work in government-oriented establishments, at times we do have argument, and I keep thinking, but these people are supposed to know, they are people who should be educating the youth of today. They are supposed to know better about the issue of Nigeria. A friend of mine happens to be, I won't mention his name, he used to have a column in EMA News, which is my online newspaper. And during the electionary campaign, I was educating him. I was, but Mr. Lagbaja, you should be understanding better. We are supposed to be the league that has to actually educate the youths about what has happened in the past. Why are you dancing along with these people? He was, okay, what just have we got? Now, Jonathan is not the right person. I said, but have you really sat down to understand that there are forces that are actually against the progress of Nigeria? I'm completely politicized. When my point of view doesn't portray any political affiliation or interest or anything, I make my views known to people the way I see Nigeria, the way I've perceived Nigeria, the way my experience and the way I've seen Nigeria right from independence up to date. So when I'm trying to be against a system, it's not because I have any interest. So and I was educating him. All of a sudden, he cut me up because of Buhari.
Okay, let me.
Less than 2 months ago, something happened. We were on Facebook and he was chatting me. He said, Fatai, if I had known what you knew then, this guy told me he shed tears because he supported Buhari.
Okay, I've got Jerry. I'm sorry, we'll come back to that. I've got Jerry on the line. Jerry, good morning. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for joining us on the program. Where are you calling from this morning?
Yeah, I'm calling from Manchester.
From Manchester. Good morning, Jerry. Did you see that jab taken at Nigeria yesterday on CNN? If you
Yes,
did
I did.
not, can I give you the quiz question so that you can get a grasp of it on CNN? The head of state, which head of state from which country has not set foot in the homeland in over 2 months? A, Saudi Arabia, B, Cuba, C, Nigeria, D, Syria. That was on CNN quiz yesterday.
Yes,
What's
saw
your
the
answer?
question. I was watching it.
What's your answer?
Yesterday.
What's your answer?
I don't know why Nigerians are surprised. You see, we have a country where the citizens are not, do not tend to hold their leaders accountable. Just imagine if this was the United Kingdom. There is under no circumstance can the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom leave his country for over 2 months and nobody tells the citizens what is wrong with the Prime Minister. We have a country that is a joke. How can a president leave this country for over 2 months? Nobody has disclosed what is wrong with the president. And the Nigerian media is just there doing nothing. You see, if this was England, it should have been on the news every day. It would have forced the presidency to come clean with what is wrong with the president. But the Nigerian media is such in a state of anarchy that they don't seem to know what they're doing. And Buhari, this tells you if a man that is dying, we all know Buhari has cancer. You can see him from his hair, from his body. He definitely has cancer. If a man that is almost facing death refuses to relinquish power, a man that is close to about 80 years old, that tells you the state of that country. That country is such a joke that we continue. People said it was a savior, a country of over 170 million. They started to impress such a man as a president. Is that not a lot? The year Buhari was the president, that was the year I was born in Nigeria. See, I'm 35 years old. The same man is ruling the same country. Are you telling me a country of over 170 million? The only person that will afford to become the president is President Buhari. This man will not be able to be the manager of a cleaning company in Europe.
All right, Jerry. All right, Jerry.
He cannot
Jerry.
be a manager in a cleaning company here in the United Kingdom. This man has nothing. He has no knowledge of how an economy is run. He's just there just to have power and become the president.
All right, Jerry, I need to let you go now. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us on the program all the way from Manchester. Let's go on a very short break for the next 5-10 minutes for me to bring in my other guest who has just come in. We'll be back. Don't go away. We'll continue the program.
Across 3 continents, 7 countries, the most revolutionary filmmaking and acting reality TV project the African film industry has ever experienced. Thousands of aspiring filmmakers and actors engaged, 60 finalists selected through regional auditions, 12 star actors and trailblazing filmmakers as mentors. capacity building, mentorship, 20 short films on social justice in competition, 1 signature feature film. For sponsorship and inquiries, call 0816 170 4676. Script to Screen Africa 2017. Film as a catalyst for revolution. Proudly supported by Ben TV UK.
Foundation currently invited to its 3rd year anniversary fundraising in Gala Night on Sunday the 20th of August 2017 at the Holiday Inn in Bloomsbury, Coram Street, London at 4 p.m. until midnight. Activities for the day include a 3-course buffet, book launch, short film premiere on mental health.
See, jovial as my job requires, but my mind is a wander in this land of fame. I am likable and friendly. My contract with fame is to always smile and be graceful when approached.
Live performance is by Ben Adu and music supplied by DJ Mind the Gap. Standard tickets are available for £30 and VIP for £50. These are available on www.eventbrite.com. Voice of Hope Women Foundation. We are a voice for the voiceless.
As part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create the platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom, our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you the unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12.
All right, thank you and welcome back. Let me bring to you my other guest, Honorable Ipwola Ahmed Omeshore. Honorable Ipwola Ahmed Omeshore was a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and he had a couple of committees at the point. Honorable Ipwola Ahmed Omeshore, he is also a publisher, the author of the book Thoughtful Thoughts from the Source, as written by him. Honorable Ipwola Omeshore, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Can I put a quiz to you quickly? This quiz was on CNN just yesterday, Sunday. Let me put the quiz to you. Yeah. Probably you might be able to give us an answer. Which head of state from which country has not set foot in his homeland in over 2 months? Let me repeat the question. It was on CNN yesterday, Sunday. Which head of state from which country has not set foot in his homeland in over 2 months? A, Saudi Arabia. B, Cuba. C, Nigeria. D, Syria. Your answer, sir.
Obviously, it's Nigeria. And
it's Nigeria?
Yes. Obviously, it's Nigeria, and it's a comic. There's nothing to bother about stepping on the soil of your country or not. It's not the first time in the world that a president...
So it doesn't matter?
It doesn't really matter if our institutions are working. You know, no, it can be avoided. But for anybody out there to mock our country because our president is not there, I think it's one of the colonial masters' gimmick.
So in your view, the position of CNN was a colonial master's gimmick.
Look, you see,
but you as a Nigerian,
I'm a Nigerian.
You as a Nigerian,
yeah.
You think it is normal for the president of your country? Now you are in the UK today. Yes. You think as a Nigerian it is normal for the president of your country to be out of the country for 2 months? And you think it is not a joke?
Look, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong in being sick. If the man is sick and he needed, health care, he could get it. Dead body don't rule.
Okay.
The only problem that is there is the handling of his, the information about his health care level. In the civilized world, every minute people will know what is happening. The image makers and the custodian of the publicity of the president has not done well. And that's the only thing. Otherwise, in America, they have about 3-4 presidents that was sick and never even saw the light of the office for several years. It has happened in America.
And they left America for treatment somewhere else?
It does not really matter. Healthcare, the system is wrong. You see, the approach of CNN is what I don't like. I'm not pleased that my president is not in the country, but when jokes are getting too far,
CNN is just representing the international community, because in an ideal environment, they believe it is inappropriate for the head of state of a nation to be out of the country, one, without the citizen having full knowledge of what is wrong with him, two, for the citizens not to see their head of state for 2 months. They feel in an ideal environment that is wrong.
I am telling you, in an ideal environment is very wrong.
So it means Nigeria is not an ideal country.
I am telling you, our democracy is far below the level of America's. Some of them have 100, 600 years of democracy. So we are
Should that be an excuse?
But that is not.
Excuse me. It's not an excuse. You see, the angle of CNN I don't like. We want to mock our president because he's out of the country. It's okay. They too have a president that is in the country and is messing up their country. They have not gotten a joke. They have a president that is not working. That every day.
You think he's not working. You may think he's not working, but his supporters are of the opinion that he's doing absolutely well.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Everything the white people do, we think is right. In a country where a president is creating storm every day, from one storm to the other, over 180 days of governance.
Opposition, though.
But it's not a position. We all see it. We all see it.
I've got Mike on the line. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks a lot. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manchester.
From Manchester. Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, I wanted to talk concerning the quiz of yesterday.
Yes.
But before I go into that, I just want to make a reference to what your guest is saying. I think a man from Nigeria, from Lagos.
Yeah.
You can just imagine what is coming up from that man's mouth. This is why our country is where it is. You are saying it does not matter if the president of a country has not gone back to his country for over 2 months, is in the hospital of a foreign country. Is that not a disgrace? That's why that country has never changed, because those who are ruling our countries, people like him, are the reason why that country has never changed. Can you
he's not saying
he's
not saying it is right. He's saying the president's handlers have not done very well.
It has nothing to do with the president's handlers.
Remember, as a politician.
There's 1 minute.
Yeah, there was situation. It is repeating himself with the Buhari presidency. Let me go back. Have you ever seen the South African president? Even when Mandela was really sick, he was treated in his country because they have a good healthcare system. This president should be ashamed of himself that he's lying down in the NHS bed for over 2 months to treat himself. Nigeria has enough money to have a good healthcare system. We don't need to be flying out of Nigeria every single day to come and treat themselves. You see people get arrested with EST, they will go to the judge, they need to go for foreign treatment. You see, that country is a joke. It's a laughing stock. For me, I think it's a hard time the Senate, the House of Assembly pulls the law. If a president leaves the country for more than 60 days, it should be...
No, there's a law. There's a law. Here is a lawmaker. There's a law already in the Constitution of Nigeria for how long a president can be out of the country. I don't think there is any
law. The law just said as long as he hand over to the vice president or write a letter of consent to the National Assembly, the party president can act for as long as forever. But for me, I think it's high time there should be a change in the constitution. If you cannot govern for more than 60 days, you should be removed from office. This man is a laughing stock to this country. And these are the reasons why that country has never moved forward. Because we have groups of people who call themselves politicians, who call themselves doctors and whatever. They are so mediocre in their thinking. Just imagine what this man is saying, that it does not matter what this if the president goes out or not.
Okay.
We always believe what the white people say.
Okay, Mike.
What are you doing here in England? Does Nigeria look like that?
Okay, Mike. All right, Mike. Thanks a lot. Let's allow the Olusegun to react.
The angle I came into the program, has changed my position. I don't like, I have heard jokes from the Western world against us. And those of...
But do you blame them?
I don't blame them. But the truth of the matter is that the growth of Nigeria, you cannot compare with the development of America. Even South Africa you're talking about has been fully developed ahead of us by the white. So people who sit here, who stay here, they are looking at things from a different point of view. I don't agree that my president should be here for 2 months, but the joke, that colonial joke, is, what gets me off my nerves.
Why do you call it colonial joke? This is 21st century age. This is an age where information is available everywhere. This is an age where it's a communal village. Everybody is one.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a country where a president has created instability in his country and day-to-day negative problems for his country?
But he was
see, we don't criticize them. They
he's being criticized. Even CNN criticizes CNN on the CNN you're talking about on a daily basis is on the neck of President Donald Trump. So much that Donald Trump has labeled CNN of fake news.
Away from the provocation, the truth of the matter is that it is not the idea for a president to be out of his country for so long. But we are in a situation where we don't know when to resign. We are in a country where we don't know when to drop, a power. So that's the only thing that is wrong with Nigeria.
Okay, let me go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, good morning, Emmanuel. Thank you for joining us. Where are you calling in from today?
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Tunde. I'm calling from Republic of Ireland.
All right, thank you so much, sir, from Ireland. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah.
Did you see that joke against us, against the president on CNN?
Yeah. We have to tell ourselves the truth, but it's quite unfortunate that people who are eating from the president are not telling themselves the truth. That is the problem we have in Nigeria today. I'm happy Mr. Omisheri is there saying that we don't know when the president, that our system in Nigeria, we don't know when to drop or when to carry on or when to do this. That is absolute rubbish. We live in the West. We know how it operates, and we have to continue to face the truth. If this type of thing, and that is why people like you, myself, and other international media are trying to put these things right. Because if we say we don't know, or they are not handling it well, we continue to live from this type of agony from year to year, month to month, century to century, until we will die. That is how Nigeria has been. This is the time to correct all those nonsense. And that is why you see the agitations up and down. You see the bill they killed, the devolution bill. This is part of the game, and we continue to deny that we don't know what, we knows what to do, but some people are sitting down on it, and we are not happy about the situation. Why can't you see the hunger in the country today in Nigeria? It's as a result of all this bullshit. You see how people...
We apologize for the use of language. We are really apologize for the use of language. Emmanuel, this is on international. We apologize for that use of language. Thanks a lot. Please, when you call in, we do feel your anger and emotion, but please mind your language when you are. Fatai, let me allow you to respond a little bit.
Now, Honorable made mention of something earlier on. He said the white people developed South Africa. Nigeria has had the opportunity of developing herself within the last 57 years. What have we made of our independence? A nation that should be the center point for medical examination, medical application, medical advice, medical development, now running abroad. Even we hardly hear that even Robert Mugabe travel out of Zimbabwe to go and seek medical attention elsewhere. We never heard of even the Zambia president going out of Zambia or the Gambia president going out of Gambia. We are talking about Nigeria, the giant of Africa. 57 years of independence, the most economically developed or economically advantaged nation in the entire Africa is disgraceful. As a politician, I understand Honorable Omishode's perspective. He has to actually defend the government because it's in there, which people who phoned in have actually articulated. And I'm happy that it's not me responding to that because they have been saying, oh, Fatai has come again to criticize Buhari. But I face reality. I'm a realist. I really want a situation whereby my country is being put into jeopardy and there is no future for that. As I'm talking to you today, there is no future for Nigeria. Okay. There are certain people who understand that no future, and that's why they are not trying to develop the country because they know at one time or the other, the more they are raking off of the nation, when the nation collapses, what they rake out is
Chamberlain,
is the benefit.
Honorable, let me quickly take Chamberlain and then we'll come back to you. Chamberlain, thank you for calling into the studio. Where are you calling in today?
Yeah, I'm calling in from Ireland, please.
All right, okay. Please do my language again this time. Go ahead.
Yeah, please, I just want to direct the politician that came from Nigeria, you know. So I'm telling you, I'm so disappointed in his contributions. First of all, we are talking of a president who is absent from the country for more than 2 months. And he is here giving comparison with the policies of Donald Trump. It doesn't, the two doesn't tally together. He says he's a politician, but let me sincerely and respectfully tell him, anytime he is coming for such a debate, he should be prepared. This is not Nigeria. This is a Western world where people are listening. His contribution there is, sorry, I wouldn't use a provocative word.
Please do not.
His contribution is not, to me, I buy it. And I know the Western world that is watching this program, even my fellow Nigerians that is watching these programs, are amazed by his contribution.
All right, Chamberlain, thanks a lot. Thank you, Chamberlain, thank you. Thank you, Chamberlain, please, I'm sorry. Let me allow Honorable to... Okay, go on, sir. Go on, sir.
You see, when you say the Western world are watching, are you pleased when they run down your country because you are here? I can understand the frustrations of people in this country, that we politicians in Nigeria, we have messed up that country, we have failed to develop that country, we have failed to use resources of the country to better the lot. We allow people to scatter all about it like the biblical Jews. That is as it may. My own reaction, you know, I'm not against what he's saying. I'm in line with it that it's not good for our to be out there. But I'm a media man, and I hate any Western media, you know, joking and, you know,
passing insult on
our country. We caused it. Let me tell you, I'm a politician. I'm not in line. I'm not supporting the government of the day in the way they're handling matters. I'm not supporting them with the way they are messing up. I studied in this country, and I knew what this country was, and I knew what it was when I returned. So what I'm saying is that everybody here have the right to criticize that government. I hate our president being here for 2 years, for 2 months. And I want to tell you that we have no culture. If I were him, I would have resigned.
But what you are against is the international media taking a job.
Of course.
The colonial people, as you call them, passing insult to the country.
I hate any Western media running down our country. They have their own problems, they have their own faults. That's the only way. But for the president, I'm not for him. I don't support him being there. I would rather die in Nigeria hospital than come and die in Europe if I'm the president of Nigeria.
Okay, let me take Gazama. Gazama, it's been a long time. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tunde. Even me, I just returned from Nigeria last week.
All right.
First of all, let me disagree with that PDP friend that is sitting down in front of you.
No, Gazama. Gazama, wait on old.
I know.
Gazama, wait. Gazama, point of correction. 1 minute. Okay. Let us not. Why do we politicize things?
I know what I'm talking about today.
Gazama, 1 minute. Gazama, 1 minute. Gazama, 1 minute.
I'll get to you calling me.
This is a debate.
Gazama, 1 minute. Gazama, 1 minute. Honorable Omishode was a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly under the
I'm an APC member, and I'm not coming here to represent any political
He is an APC member, but he's not speaking for APC. He's not representing APC.
No.
So calling him PDP, you politicize his opinion.
I'm with him.
Go on.
Hello.
Go on, Gazama.
I'm with the person the honorable that is wearing glasses. In his support. I'm supporting what he's saying.
Oh, you mean Fatai is what you're referring to?
I'm referring to my other friend. That's what
Fatai. Fatai, unfortunately, is not a PDP man, he's a journalist.
Anyway, honestly, we must have opposition. Of course, what he's saying, he's not wrong by what he's saying, but again, this is between life and death. Buhari is ill. There is no leadership vacuum at the moment in Nigeria. President, Vice President is doing well, excellently well. So I don't know. Do they want to mock us so that he will go back as ill as he is? Then the country will remain unstable. I don't understand where the argument. Now we have excellent leadership in Nigeria. I don't know why people are.
This is what you view, but it does seem that the international community does not see it that way. The international community does not see it that way. Hence, the quiz on CNN last night saying which country, which head of state of which country has been out of his homeland for 2 months. It means that the international community is not looking at it from the way you are looking at it, that it doesn't matter. Because
look at Zakaria. If you look at him again on CNN, he said, let's not joke about it, Donald Trump will lose the election. And he didn't. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, he said Donald Trump will lose the election. And Donald Trump actually didn't lose an election. These are people that are looking for people to bring them down because they want our people to go to them, to spend our money. They don't want us to grow. But Buhari came, nothing, Medicare is not good. Yeah, he has to be alive. But in another way, now that he's treating himself, that guy that is there, our acting president, is doing well. That is all I care about. He's doing well, excellently well. And they want him to be running.
You are in this country today. Do you think it's possible for the Prime Minister to be out of, even not out, to remain in an NHS hospital for 2 months without? Why couldn't we compare?
If he stays in Nigeria, he would have died.
Not compare?
That is it.
Are we not supposed to be looking up to people that are better than us?
Because you have lived here for years, you are already part of them. You are looking at our own government with. Look at democracy here is about 600 years. The development is far ahead. What we can blame our country for is the wastage. It's the level of wastage. It's the lack of focus. It's lack of development. Our leaders, all our leaders should be hanged.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Perfectly. Because there is no wrong or right answer to this argument.
No wrong or right answer.
So Gazama, in your own view, you think it is not, there's nothing wrong in the president's absence?
He has handed over to his deputy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's no leadership vacuum, honestly.
Okay, all right, Gazama.
All Nigerians just forget about this people and back the acting president while praying for Buhari to get better.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. But I want to get back to you. You said there's no basis for comparison. And is it not normal in our democracy that people should look up to a better democracy and try to copy them?
You see,
don't we be in the committee of other head of states, either at the United Nations or at World Economic level?
Some of us, we are very ashamed. But when at the end of the day, your country is your country. I cannot sit down here and you are running down our own country. But I cannot sit down here when I even see the most developed nation handling their presidency in the way that they are going back, and somebody say the international media are hearing. Come on, let me just tell you. The debate should be our leaders performing well. They are not performing well. They failed us. Why can't we have a better,
Can we not start from a head of state
that should die?
No. Can we not start from a head of state who has been receiving medical attention for more than 2 months to say, you know what, I've been out of the country. I think for us to move on, let me tender my resignation.
That's what I expected to do. That is what I expected Buhari to do.
But he will not do that with some of the expressions coming from politicians.
He has disappointed me. I thought after 40 days he would resign. You see, and that's the sad side of being an African. It's a bad DNA on our part. that we don't know when to go. For me, I don't want to die. If I'm sick, I will come to Britain, teach myself I cannot provide in my country, but I will resign. You should resign. And let me tell you, what the sad side of it is that when Buhari was campaigning, he said there is no need for anybody to go abroad for medical treatment. I'm taken aback that he decided to go abroad, negating his campaign. That's an angle I don't like it.
Okay, Fatai.
Let me respond to that. Anybody that is looking at Buhari...
I think, Fatai, we've got the only lady who has called in. I'm sorry, let me put you on hold. Margaret, good morning, Margaret. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning.
Thank you. Go ahead and make your point. Where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm calling from Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire. Thanks a lot. Go ahead.
Right. I think the question that you put across was, is it normal for a leader of a country to reside abroad? But the length of time Buhari has done so, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Yeah, but... And then he sort of went into, the Western world criticizing and all that. There are two angles that I want to come into this debate.
Go on.
It's not normal, and it isn't. I don't know whether there's anything in the Nigerian constitution. I don't know what it says. If this president is within the Nigerian constitution, then if we don't like it, then we've got to go back and look at the constitution. And secondly, it's okay to criticize yourself, to go within yourself and say, how can I get better? It's not, we have a problem with understanding criticism. We look at it as negative, and that's why we shy away from it. But it can be a sort of kind of moving forward. You can look at yourself, how can I do it better? So I think, I don't understand why some people have issues on your panel about the criticism that was leveled to Nigerian situation. It's okay. Every good person who's going to move on in their life would at some stage take a stop on what they're doing and think, can I do it better? If we don't criticize ourselves, other people will criticize on our behalf, and they would take it on a different angle. Why can't we just criticize ourselves? Let's move on. Mm-hmm. What can we do better? If Buhari is doing whatever he's doing, if he's out the country and if he's within the constitution, then there's nothing wrong with that. But if we feel that it's a shameful thing and that we hadn't anticipated that this situation would come across when the constitution was written, then we've got to go back and look at the constitution itself and get better. I don't understand the issue.
All right, Margaret, I don't understand the issue, just as you are. And that's why we're throwing it to the people who do know the issue better. Thank you, Margaret, for joining on the show. Honorable Commissar, let me come to Fatai.
Let us forget about the constitution this time around. Let us put Buhari's earth on the table. What sort of desperation could have made a leader of a country to say that he wants to die in active service? Already is well recognized as a Nigerian leader. He was served as head of state, so already he is actually...
If the president resigns, who will be responsible for the cost of his treatment?
Let me tell you something.
No, we need to look at a couple of things.
It's the government. We still do.
Excuse me. The government will still be responsible for
as a past head of state.
As a former head of state.
Now you can see where we are coming from now. Now, whoever is thinking today that Buhari is in charge of Nigeria is a fool. Nigeria, since independence, since the end of the Civil War, has been under the clutches of the cabal. And this cabal are the one that determines who rules Nigeria. And I will say this affirmatively anywhere, because I know that is what is applicable in Nigeria as of today. And let me tell you, if anybody is thinking that Southwest Nigeria has ever ruled Nigeria, we are fools. The reason being that, look at the set of those who has been in charge of Nigeria. Look at Baba Obasanjo's, activities about checkmating the Southwest. No typical Southwest has ever ruled Nigeria. We are in the same position that the Southeast is as of today. We've never had a hardcore Southwesterner ruling Nigeria since independence. That's the reason why 1999 we are looking for a saving grace after so much of Southwest leaders have been assassinated, this and that. That's the reason why they went back to build OBJ, because it's the only one they can trust. I mean, the Northern Keba, who are actually holding our destiny today in Nigeria. So you said earlier on that, you know, every government, the same situation we find ourselves under Yar'Adua is happening now. Same Keba that took Nigeria more than 6 months are the same people that are really, we are under the Keba auto drive in Nigeria.
Okay, let me put your hold. Honorable, your last take on this program. Your last take. Your last take, your last comment.
My last comment is that our president, you see, we should start a culture where you learn to resign for any reason. If you accuse me, I've done this and then I have not done it, to prove to the public that I don't go there to go and sit tight, I will resign. That culture that is missing in our country is destroying our nation. Secondly, the rule of law is not existing. So each time I go out, like I come here, and I see the reactions of Nigerians out there, they are bitter. They are annoyed because they have a country that is a country of gold, and they are suffering in diaspora. And each time you talk about Nigeria or you defend the government, people pounce on you, and I can understand. But the truth is that we should not allow Western media to run down our country, and we think, you know, we are like them. No, I'm against them.
But if we don't criticize ourselves, and people will criticize us, even if people criticize us, shouldn't take that criticism, according to Margaret, in good faith, and look and take the best out of the criticism.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter whether it was a local media or international
I agree.
media.
I'm not in support of the president's staying for 2 months. I'm not in support of the president wanting to die here. I'm not in support of Nigeria not being able to develop their own healthcare.
I'm sorry, we need to go now.
I'm
sorry, we need to go now because of our time. Let me quickly tell you, Honorable Omisore is the author of Thoughtful Thoughts from the Source, a book he authored in Nigeria. Thoughtful Thoughts from the Source, authored by Honorable Omisore, a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. You can get your copy on Amazon or anywhere. Just type Thoughtful Thoughts from the Source, Ipola Ahmed Omisore, authored by him. This is how I can go. It's been, although my guest, let me thank you for coming in late, and let me thank you for at least you made it for a couple of minutes.
Sorry for
so
coming
we went beyond our time. Thanks a lot. My name is Tunde Alabi. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's keep praying for the president. Let's pray for his good health, and let's pray for Nigeria, and let's pray for everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
Good evening, viewers. You're welcome to London. My name is Kayode Ogundamisi, and it's still your program, Politics with KO, and that station, First Black Network in the UK and in Europe, Ben Television. We're still there, we're still alive, we're still surviving, despite the difficulties around the world. So you're welcome once again. And Nigeria is like a this, like a that, as that famous lawmakers would say in the Nigerian Senate. Things are going up, they're going down, we don't know where things are heading to, but there's lots of changes going on in Nigeria. So tonight we're going to be having two topics. We'll be talking about the constitutional review by Nigerian lawmakers. They seem to want to arrogate the power of the presidency to themselves. That's a full conversation. And during the second half, we'll be talking about fake drugs in Nigeria, killing thousands, if not millions of people. But first, let me just say we're blessed to have in the studio with me former Minister of State for Education, Olorogun Kenneth Gbagi. You're welcome to Politics with KO.
Thank you very much.
And joining us via Skype, we've got a lawyer. He's going to be joining us from Lincolnshire in the UK, Thomas Jide Oyetunde. Thomas, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's kick off with you. You're the barrister here. What does it take to change the Constitution? Why now? Why do we have the lawmakers tinkering with the 1999 Constitution. Is it 1979 or 1999?
1999.
1999 Constitution. What's happening? Can you give us a background to this?
Okay, well, the truth about it is the Constitution really, as far back as 1999, recognized the country or the state of Nigeria in the context to which it was. As at that point, you couldn't quite establish the direction of travel. You couldn't establish how well, it wasn't new then, but how our democracy was going to grow over the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And the truth about the Constitution is that in order for it to be fit for purpose, there needs to be periodic reviews to see whether or not the dynamic for that organization or for that body has actually changed. I mean, the same thing happens in companies, in charitable organizations, many institutions. Really, it is appropriate for them periodically to actually look at the Constitution, go back and see if it's fit for purposes, and see what needs to be changed.
Okay, let me bring in the politician. Yeah, I can call you that, Ologungbagi. So,
as a lawyer, I'm a politician.
You're a politician, and you're also. So, we have the 1999 Constitution, and I know since we got this so-called democracy, it's been talks about changing this Constitution. But the argument is, people are saying, we want a people's constitution independent of these lawmakers because they don't serve the interests of the people. Let's have a sovereign national conference where there's devolution of power. Let's just break this system and recouple it together. Why do we have to rely on these lawmakers when they are seen as part of the problem?
Jide, thank you very much for inviting me to this program. First and foremost, you cannot put something on nothing. The 1999 Constitution is a constitution that was made, put into circulation by just one man. He added or removed, added what he wanted in his own perception, he himself not being a lawyer, not the people contributing to what he has done, except a small clique of committees of his friends and trusted to draft what is today known as the Constitution.
Can we have the name of this individual?
No, Abdulsalami was the one who put this Constitution back, and in a hurry for politicians to take over governance of the country, he, Abdulsalami, with so much in his plate and wanting to run away quickly, hurriedly put something together, tagged it Constitution, and foisted it on the people. So to that extent, it is not a constitution deriving its powers from the electorate, from the masses, from a plebiscite, and by extension cannot be representing the interest of the collective divergent views of the people of Nigeria.
Okay, taking it from there, let's look at the specific. Jide, I don't know if you're following it. The most controversial one is the lawmakers. They want former Senate presidents and former head of the House of Representatives to also be members of the Council of States to join former head of states. That is one. And they're talking about immunity from for whatever they do as lawmakers. Even though they've got that in their rule books now, we don't have the details of that. Are there specific stuff that you see in that we should be wary of in these so-called amendments being made by the lawmakers?
Well, there's a large extent to which we need to understand that Nigeria, despite being 60 years old, is definitely still a growing nation. And it goes without, from my perspective, in my opinion, it is quite right that we get former leaders of the country and not lose their perspective and not lose whatever experience. I mean, this is not necessarily an endorsement of our past leaders, but this is a recognition that they must have learned something in terms of the running of Nigeria and the unique problems that we have as a nation. So to that extent, it is probably a positive step to allow them some position in terms of being able to move Nigeria forward. If you remember when during the last election, when we were coming to this crisis point, was Goodluck going to hand in or not, or not handing, when it was clear that he was running, fairly losing the election? It had been rumored, and that it was really previous leaders who all met and persevered on him or persuaded him to do the right thing. So whereas I'm not necessarily one who says that previous leaders should always be in the forefront. In fact, I'm an advocate of we need a new a new crop of younger leaders. But it is also still important to sort of maintain some of those people who've actually sat in that chair previously, who understand the games, if you want to call it that are played by the geopolitical areas in Nigeria, and use their experience positively. Okay, so to that extent, I think it's a positive step.
Let me bring in Ologungbagi here. Now, we have former presidents and head of states, members of Council of State. Why do we need to include former Senate president and former chairman, head of House of Representatives?
Put it this way. I think we are hurriedly getting into a boxed corner of irresponsibility. First and foremost, former heads of states who are members of Council of State are designed by the Constitution, and they belong to the executive branch of doing things or implementing the laws emanating from the legislators. Now, for the legislators to want to jettison, or after losing elections, or no more senators or speakers of the various houses, as the case may be, now coming to participate in the functions of implementation of those laws that are coming from the Senate and the House of Representatives, to me, is a duplication. Number two, they are trying to participate or have these two sides of their knives, having left the houses of House of Representatives as speakers and senators or Senate president to come and participate in the implementation of what is coming from. To that extent, I see them trying to usurp the powers of the executive. Clear separation of power. They are lawmakers. These are executive that implement the law. So to that extent, I think it's a very selfish situation and will not stand the test of time.
Are you worried? I am curious, and actually, are you worried about this new provision of immunity? Lawmakers should have immunity for acts performed as lawmakers. Why would they need a new provision when they have rules that actually protect them for whatever they say in Parliament?
Between you and I, sir, the issue of that proviso of immunity, to me, goes to nothing. It's a repetition. They've already had that. I don't see anything new that what they are trying to introduce now, as opposed to the major problems we have, if I may have your permission. Now, there are plaguing situations in Nigeria. There are things that the people of Nigeria are looking for. Let me take the single issue of the judiciary. The judiciary is the third arm of governance in Nigeria. Very critical. But for the judiciary would have gone into a state of anarchy. Now, nothing is said. If you take Britain, for instance, today, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court here is 73 years old. Nothing was said about the extension of the years of judges, for instance. Now, if they retire at 65, where they are at their best, what does it pay the common taxpayer? Number one. Number two, why do you really want to let them go when, if they go, you still pay them salaries for life?
For life, yeah.
Why not use whatever they have? For them, some of them who want to, opt to retire, it's okay. But as a rule, the country will benefit more if you were to allow them to go up to 60, up to 70, 75, all the way. Now, you have courts. If you take the totality of all the high courts in the country, there are about 400. right now. All the cases coming from those 400 courts goes to 16 jurisdiction court of appeal.
Yeah.
Now, all the cases coming from those 16 jurisdiction goes to the Supreme Court, one Supreme Court. For God's sake, I would have thought the lawmakers should be thinking about a true situation that brings peace and so-called to the 170 million Nigerians we have by first breaking the Supreme Court into decentralized, into regions, for instance. Yeah. We have 6 geopolitical zones now, for instance. What is wrong if they had come up with a more serious amendment that will affect the entire cliché of the country by producing regional Supreme Courts? Okay, and if you are not satisfied with the regional Supreme Court,
let me just add something into that issue of the judiciary.
Yes, please.
You see, I personally think that the idea of retiring people beyond a particular age actually is a positive one. We need to recognize that we have 170 million Nigerians. That's 170 million opportunities. Yep. When it comes to the judiciary, yes, there are the what you would call the, if you want to call it, the more appealing issues of, oh, what did this judge decide on this particular case and what did he decide on that particular one. There's a secondary issue which is literally about the measure of performance. Yeah. And the truth about it is, whether we like it or not, the older you go, the less active you are in being able to actually see things through. I, as a lawyer, know this. Routinely, you go to court, judge is off sick, there's this adjournment for a whole range of reasons. I am certainly not one who writes people off by age, but I think it is really important that as people get to a particular age, we begin to have, one, a de facto system which says, you know what, if you're at this particular point, you probably need to prove your ability to actually do that function. It's almost like the driving license. It's probably a good idea to say, actually, by the time you get to a particular age, we need to retest you to see whether or not, you know, you're still compos mentis in terms of driving a car. How much more judiciary decide issues?
Let me point you out to one that people seems to be happy about, especially young people, is the decision by the Nigerian Senate to reduce the age of being elected into public office. That seems to get a lot of kudos from Nigerians. It's about time. I think now they say you can...
Absolutely a positive step. You see, the nature of Nigeria means that there is one thing for something to be written in law. It's a second thing for the dynamic of politics in Nigeria to even allow those young people to come forward. So, you know, whereas what is important, in my opinion, about Nigeria is to recognize that certainly we have flaws, certainly we've had issues in the past. We're never going to actually simply, you know, put a gavel down and simply say from here on in, Nigeria suddenly changes. We're going to move in a gradual step. And what we're seeing the legislature do is introduce things which are positive. Now, I totally agree that some of them are probably debatable. That's the whole issue about why it's in the legislature. That's part of their function. It is to debate the pros and cons. There's an interesting one further down about 35% women appointments to ministers. You know, that was chalked out. The issues of whether that is positive or not. All these things, what's important is that the legislature has now, seems to me, to be moving to a point where they're trying to begin to debate and legislate those issues that are germane to changing Nigeria's course. And for that, we need to give them a positive.
On changing Nigeria's course, Olorogun Gbagi, you mentioned one fundamental thing, and that is the issue of the 1999 Constitution is a one-man imposed document with some 12 wise men and women. I've always said that. But an opportunity to critically look at the foundation of Nigeria, devolution of power. The Senate dismissed it, which is the principal campaign of the APC, that they were going to decentralize power. There's too much power in the center. Why, in your opinion, do you think the Senate seems to be more interested in the status quo as it is?
Taking cue from what my colleague, a lawyer, just said, that the Senate had done so much, I'm particularly very worried because a number of the issues the Senate had touched, with greatest respect, 1 or 2 are positive. However, will they see the light of day? For instance, the financial autonomy of the local government. The governors in the country will obviously shut it down.
Yeah.
The houses of assembly belongs to the governors. We haven't said that.
Because, because at least this bill must have 2/3.
It's an exercise.
The State House of Assembly
It's an exercise that they have kick-started hurriedly for some reasons, which we'll look at later. However, whatever they have done has not become law. They will still have to carry 24 of the entire states of Nigeria to agree.
24 out of 36.
Out of 36 to agree to what they have proposed. That, I can tell you, will never happen. But having said so, we have issues. You and I know. Look at the exercise of going to change the name force from the police
to Nigerian police.
To Nigerian police. There are critical, talking as a criminologist, there's a critical problem in the country where you have a policeman posted from Niger State to Delta, and he goes there with all the powers that he has, turn the state upside down, do what he wants, under the pretext that he's waiting for instruction from an Inspector General of Police who most probably have not been to Delta State, for instance, all his life. What does he know? How would he run? Why have we gone to it? If they had gone, for instance, say, police dissolved into state police, federal police, state police, and local government police,
which is part of the fundamentals. And Jide, that's actually a legitimate question. Like, why would you concern yourself with the name of the police when there are critical issues such as creation of state police? Because in Borno, when I visited Borno, the local vigilantes are already helping. OPC rescued the police in Okorodu last week. Why will the Nigerian lawmakers, just busy themselves with changing the name of the police force and not the institution itself?
The issue about, if you want to call it government, it is never usually an either or. It could be this and. So I absolutely agree with that. I am certainly one who feels that Nigeria would be served better by the devolution of these particular powers and actually the creation of those states, just for very practical, logical reasons on ground, which we won't even cover. Having said that, branding, is probably important.
Yeah.
And it on some scale, I'm not saying an absolute, on some scale, when you see some of things coming out like this from government, it begins to make you feel that possibly more and more professional people, even branders, maybe branders are beginning to get a foothold in government. And I wouldn't necessarily see that as positive. The Metropolitan Police here have done exactly the same thing. People have gone through, is it a force? Is it a police? Is it here to help? Is it here to, enforce? All these things are little bits of, information coming out. I'm not necessarily whole scale against it. I would have liked to see a lot more in the line of what has just been mentioned in terms of devolution of power. I think it would have been much more important. But let me just take you come into this issue of local authority, which I think is key. Local authority and even state creation. You see, I'm still old enough to know that I learned 19 states, and by the time we went up to 22, there are now 36. I can't even remember the names. The issue is, has it actually been effective for Nigeria? Has local authority been effective for Nigeria? My sense of it is that hitherto, up until now, local authority has not been effective. When we look at elections, it ends up literally being almost a cabal of local, for want of a better expression, local kingpins and area boys, doing, pretty much throwing little bits of scraps of money about. No roads are done, nothing is done. Anything that creates a better system is what I'm in favor of. And insofar as local authority has not yet impressed me in terms of delivery, I am, very, very
I think Onogunbagi would like to say something.
Jide, I don't know how long ago you have left the country. But for those of
I am in Nigeria, by the way. Sorry, sir.
Oh, good. Good. My issue here are very simple. Number one, you cannot talk of a local government that is documentarily in place by constitution, but practically not in place. What we Nigerians should be talking about is how we better the situation for our children yet unborn. The people who run London, the people who run America are not working to see what they get immediately. Put it this way. The local government is the closest organ of governance to the people. Do they have money? Do the local government people get to sign a check of 45 million when they actually get only 2.5 million? And out of that 2.5 million, they make away with 500,000 to their pocket and nobody can ask them.
And apparently almost, I'm looking here now, almost 80% of local government officials are not elected in Nigeria.
They are imposed.
Yeah.
Now the question is that critical arm of governance, which is the third tier, needs to be made strengthened with what we have today. If the Constitution has said we have 3 tiers of government, the federal, the state, and the local government, and the local government is what is closest most to the people, that is where I can hold to authority to say, you are my local government chairman, you have gotten 45 million truly in cash, and I need my road, I need my electricity, I need my drainage. But as it is today, we are not doing that. The local government cannot function, I'm sorry, unless we get them and agitate for them to function as a third tier of government. We're going to have
and because you mentioned drainage, there was massive flooding in Nigeria, and my producer will just play you a clip now, the clip of flood in Nigeria. Of course, there are floodings all around the world, and we just want to take a short break so that you can see what's happened, the devastation. This has got to do with our environment. Are we taking care of our environment? We blame government for everything, but you take every little particle, you throw it into the gutter. That's if you have gutters in your area. Just watch what that is doing to our environment. And when we come back, we're going to take your phone calls. I still have in the studio with me Olorogun Gbagi and Jide via Skype. It's your own station, Ben TV. We are still alive.
Oh, Islander, go Kwashi. Oh my God. Hey. This is serious. Hello everybody, this is Igwe Road, Auchi. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey. God. You can see what's happening at Igwe Road. You can see what's happening. This is Igwe Road. This is erosion. Erosion is moving people's motor. You can see what's happening. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You can see it's moving towards that Jeep. Oh, Islander, go Kwashi. Oh my God. Hey. This is serious. Hello everybody. This is Igwe Road, Auchi. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey. God. Carry on back.
Viewers, that's the first clip is Edo State. And guess what? Edo got loads of loans from the World Bank, ecological funds that they wanted to use to put drainage in place. And the other segment is Lagos State. That's actually Ikoyi, Victoria Island, where the high and mighty in Nigeria lives, you know, the big men and women, and that's flooded. But I want my producer to actually look for a clip. It's Eco Atlantic City. Now, the argument has been that the rich, when they destroy where the poor live, they want to create a fresh island, you know, a way, you know, reclaim water. And some scientists are saying that actually when you reclaim this water, you actually drive them back into the land. So before we come back to this, we quickly watched Eco Atlantic City, what they are doing to reclaim. If you can see that, that's a timeline. That's the geo timeline of how many lands we've reclaimed from the sea. and how this is going to come back to haunt us. You see, you can see it being looped again there. You see a whole lot of water is being reclaimed. They are building a new set of island for the sea. And we are buying the vast lands that is available for development. Well, I wouldn't know what to say other than we actually need to take care of our environment, government, the people, the society. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves facing a great deal of disaster. So back, I don't know whether you've got a quick comment on that.
You see, the entire situation we have in our hand in the country is that there's no plan. A governor comes into office, he does what he pleases. And it's not taken off from any master plan of 20 years or 10 years or 15 years, as the case may be. So the whole thing is jumbled up. If you take me as a businessman or as an industrialist, I have a plan for the next 20 years, what I want to do, what I want to achieve, what I most probably will bequeath onto my heirs. I haven't said so. We have a problem. I looked at the issue. Somebody called me 4 days ago from Asaba. Embarrassingly, the first secretariat that was built is flooded. What has happened? Somebody built ShopRite on the drainage way for water and everything. So that had blocked the way, and then this is coming after the first. Now this is the first rainy season after that property has been commissioned. The entire place is flooded. What do we do? There was no plan. If you take a typical construction in anywhere in Europe, you have your drainage, you connect through the drainage, you have your walk path, you have your road path, but everybody who has power comes and take over what he wants to do. And at the end of the day, poor people suffer for it.
And Jide, I know you've got experience in this because you also, in your role, you also deal with estate managers. And in terms of planning, are there laws in place, and are people just violating these environmental laws as they please?
You see, in terms of planning, I can talk very specifically to Lagos State, which is where I am based. What I will say is this: Nigeria is that kind of place where they actually do have laws and do have officers. The question is, how effective are they? Now, you're absolutely right. One of our biggest issues the biggest paucity of experiences in there is flooding. But there are two issues to consider on flooding. One is that the planning permission, and then the second is how do people actually relate and react to their environment. The two are working together to create all these issues. Certainly, there are planning permissions. There are proposed streets. There are proposed lines, walkways, throughways. But the truth about it is, people simply, ignore these things, ignore these areas, and then those agencies, particularly the third-tier agencies that we were looking at, actually don't take up their role in terms of properly ensuring that people are not building on walkways, on gutters, and so on and so forth. And therefore, you end up in a flooding situation. Okay. So it is. I think what we need to do is it goes back to one of those things where we say certainly our government needs to do more, but we as Nigerians, if we don't take up that mantle and begin to take responsibility for our environment and for our actions, and that goes to both at a local level. Do you allow your local security man to open up a kiosk in front of your house over the gutter to sort of supplement the meager salary that you're giving him? These are little things which all add up to a problem, a community problem, and that's something. So it's something we all need to take responsibility for. But certainly, government should be doing more, and we need to strengthen our third-tier government to actually react.
Let me bring us back to this issue of the constitutional review, and I want Olorogun to clear us on this. Bill 19, separation of office of the Attorney General from the Minister Commissioner of Justice. Why would they need to do this? Separate the office of the Attorney General from Minister at the federal level and commissioners of justice at the state level?
I strongly would support the separation because the workload of holding the office of Attorney General and that of Commissioner of Justice are clearly two separate responsibilities. One is political, the other one is purely administrative.
So this is positive.
It's a positive step that they change that. In so many countries in the world, no two persons hold the same portfolio. To me, it is too bulky. It makes whoever holds the two portfolio ineffective, and at the end of the day, the taxpayer suffers for it.
And Jide, I guess you agree with that, don't you?
Absolutely. The Attorney General should be a career lawyer. That is the budget. He should have particular expertise in making sure that the state prosecutes criminals, including politicians. You know, he should, and merging those two functions really doesn't help. It means that so many issues become politicized they shouldn't.
Since we have agreement on that, let's look at bill number 12. Bill number 32, deletion of Land Use Act from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 46 voted in favor, 44 voted against. What are the implications if they delete the Land Use Act from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Now, this is one very tricky solution. You can actually mirror it very closely to what's happening in the United States. Where Donald Trump is having this issue about repeal Obama without actually putting something else in its place. The issue is the Land Use Act was introduced for a specific purpose of trying to document and record land ownership throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am absolutely in favor that if you have not yet got to a point where you have come back with the solution to the issues and the positives that we currently experience, you don't just delete it.
Okay, so Olorogo, what's your position on that?
If you ask me, the purpose of that particular bill or law of the Land Use Act has outlived its purpose.
Okay.
What do you derive now with the Land Use Act? In any case, this particular action is one that goes back to restructuring. Leave the people to take hold of what is theirs. Give them autonomy over what they possess, over what God has given to them. Let an Ondo man manage what Ondo has. Let an Ondo man manage his cocoa. Let a Jesse man manage his rubber. Let an Akwa Ibom man manage the product. You see, this.
So since we're a federation, let the federation unit.
Let the federation unit. For God's sake, what is the fear? If you ask me, why hold on to what is not yours? That's where the
Land Use Act. I'm sorry, sir. Just to cut in there, the Land Use Act does not, in any way, shape, or form, debar local communities or local states or persons who actually own land of actually taking ownership from them. What then is the
purpose of the Land Use Act?
From an administrative function, it was about registering your interest. And the truth about it is, if we do not document who actually owns the land Use Act, even in its most basic terms, seemed to give all the land to the government. But that wasn't what the issue was about. It was about registering your interest.
If I just quickly respond, Jide, what stops in the United States of America? Do the federal government go to Chicago to record and monitor the land? You see, this fear of holding everything like a king who does not want to devote power to his children, it's where we have our problem. What is wrong in every local government? Registering the land in their local government. What is wrong in a state? Registering state land that belongs to state. Why should you put a Land Use Act, which of course was brought by the military? The fear we have as a people today is that we have not been able to touch the kernel of our problem. A lot of these laws or constitution were brought about by military apologies.
So
and to that extent, we have not been able to do anything because we ourselves are not sure of a solution to the problem. And unless we allow politicians to run the affairs of the country, we'll be wasting our time.
Okay, I'll quickly run through Bill 29, deletion of NYSC decree from the Constitution. Bill 28, authorization of expenditure time frame for laying appropriation bill. Now, I find this a bit crazy. 35% affirmative action for women as state commissioners. 61% voted yes. 35% voted no. But when it came to the federal appointments, they voted the other way round. Jide, do you want to respond to this? Bill 11F.
This is Nigeria. This is Nigeria typically. We do things based on effectively how we feel a particular situation is going to pan out, rather based on a principle or a policy.
Yeah.
You know, the issue about should we involve more women in government, I think is broadly speaking, every educated person would say yes, it's a positive. How do you go about it? You know, becomes a much more broader question. I think what was playing out there in the Senate was, rather than actually debate and discuss and agree what the principle should be, what they ended up looking at was looking at particular situations and almost coming up with what we would call a fudge. They fudged the issue. The issue is a principle. Do we want more women in politics? I would say we do. I would certainly go as far as saying one of the very first, the three top positions in Nigerian politics, probably one should be a female. I'd absolutely go as far as agreeing with that. Okay. So, you know, it was about trying to fudge an issue. But I think, by and large, the fact that we're actually debating having more women in politics, again, is a positive. Remember, 2 months ago, we failed to pass FGM. In the Senate. In the Senate. So, you know, I'm one for actually making, you know, trying to see that when something positive are happening, we should recognize it, but they fudged the issue.
Let me put Olorogun on the spot here. So, Olorogun Gbagi, you were a former minister for state in education, and your fellow minister was a minister for education. Female minister. Rukayatu. Did you find any problem working with a female minister? In Nigeria, they see the minister as a senior minister. You probably disagree with that, but did you have a good working relationship? And on the issue of 35% affirmative action, Nigeria is a signatory to international assent. Why can't we? Why is the Nigerian? Why do you think the Nigerian lawmakers would vote that?
I do not see any country where you sumo to put a percentage by law that this percentage belongs to women. Again, you are making a mediocre...
Except in Rwanda.
In Rwanda. Yeah. You are making nonsense of the whole process. In fact, it's an insult. We went to school with women. There are some women who are far more brilliant than men. Okay, so leave the women to evolve and become what they are by their own calling, by their own strength, without depriving them or deliberately stopping them from getting to where they want to go to. This whole attitude of making laws to protect certain failures or certain persons or people you consider weak for one reason or the other has negatively impacted.
So I take it you oppose, because there are laws in the United Kingdom, and take it in America, where black and ethnic minority firms are given a percentage where they must include this group who are who are somehow deprived by the system.
If you take statistics worldwide, I mean, I lived in the US. How has it actually helped to raise those so-called blacks or minorities beyond their level? It's all cosmetic. You see, looking at this issue, are there women who are more brilliant than you when you went to school? There are some who can challenge, who can meet up by themselves. What I'm saying, let us not make nonsense. In fact, it's an insult to say reserve that position. The women, look at the Jonathan's government. I served in the Jonathan's government. If you want to take that.
Yeah, there were lots of women.
You have women in virtually everywhere in that government. You have, in fact, more stronger women as ministers than those of us who were men.
Yeah.
Now,
we had the acting president, Diziani.
Yes. No, I don't know if she's the acting president or the president. Now, if you put that together, there is constitutionally no minister of state. There's no word like that. Okay. Every minister is a minister. Go and check the certificate. The president could, assign you as he wishes. Every minister earns the same salary. So to that extent, I didn't feel anything wrong working with a female minister, you know, and we got on very, very well.
Okay, Jide, you obviously think there should be affirmative action.
I'm absolutely clear about the fact that we need to have affirmative action.
Yeah.
You know, this issue about people who are denied and deprived opportunities is something that is not unique to Nigeria, as you rightly pointed out, Kaude. Yeah. The point is this: are we trying to change government to be more reflective of the people? I would suggest yes, we are. Are there pretty much as much women, if not more women in our population, rather, you know, that are part of our citizenry? Certainly there should be. So how do we encourage them? I'm not necessarily one who says we should reserve a position. What we are saying is men would sit in a position whereby they call other men and other relations and so on and so forth, as we continue to see in government. And what we should try to do is make sure that we institute a process, which means that when you are looking for that remit of people who are going to serve in your government, who are going to be a part of taking Nigeria forward, reserve a percentage. I'm not particularly exercised about what it is, but in doing so, we will make sure that issues about FGM and women being sold into for childhood marriage and so on and so forth, which are not issues which are going to be resolved in one day, but we begin to gradually move them in the direction that they need to go.
Okay. I will, before we go back to the last issue on the Constitution, because I also want us to speak on some other issues that are quite fundamental. Devolution of power. Viewers will know that in Nigeria today, for non-Nigerian viewers, there's been agitation by different ethnic nationalities to seek self-determination, the latest being the Biafra group, IPOB, who they've more or less grounded southeastern Nigeria, where their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, seems to be more popular than any Igbo leader of recent times, apart from maybe Dim Odumego Ojukwu. And the Arewa movement are there in the north, and in the southwest you have the OPC. In the Niger Delta, people are clamoring for more power to their region. And you would think the minimum demand of most of these groups is for a referendum to determine the state of Nigeria. Some are even saying, look, let us go. We don't have to be part of Nigeria, which they think they have a right to say and to demand. And you would think the National Assembly, the lawmakers who are reflective of this community, would accede to the most minimal demand, which is a devolution of power. But no, on the issue of devolution of power, the Senate voted 90 against devolution of power, 90 against devolution of power. Only 5 senators saw the need to devolve power in Nigeria. As far as they are concerned, everything is cool and dandy in Nigeria. That, I know you fundamentally fault that.
You see, let me tell you, you've mentioned this number of agitating groups and bodies in the country. It will continue. If you see the pattern of the voting yesterday, it didn't reflect any arrangement of bringing succor or bringing continuity. At the end of that yesterday's episode, I have over 2,000 calls. People are saying, we told you we're going. The people from the west want to go. The people from the east want to go. The people from the north say they want to go. There are people who are just there sitting down, crafting confusion to make everything look as though it is well. I read a joke. I mean, you will know better. I mean, you are more on the social media, where Trump had alluded to say that Nigeria needs to be recolonized, or Africa needs to be recolonized. I laughed at it, but if you look at it deep down, are we as a people ready to run a country together as one nation? It is these actions. When you say you do not want to restructure, you restructure your home every day. I restructure my home and businesses every day. The question is that if you have nothing to hide, why are you afraid of restructuring? Restructuring at the best will bring competition. Competition at the best will bring the best of all of us out, and the country will be a winner for it. Why are we afraid of it?
Okay, Jide, on that issue, that same issue, we've got a representative of Southeast Nigeria, the Indigbos, as they will say, who are very vociferous now, even though they were opposed to restructuring in the past, but now at least they are at the forefront of restructuring. Why would almost all their representatives vote against devolution of power and restructuring, and even senators from South-South? Do you think there is harmony on the part of the ruling elite? And
I think what is happening right there is actually people who are self-serving. There's absolutely no question whatsoever that Nigeria needs a restructure. But you see, restructure is what we're talking about. We are not talking about a separation. A restructuring is different from a separation. And absolutely, in the way in which we are currently, we would achieve better by devolving more powers. Yeah. We just discussed it. My colleague there talked about the third tier of government. So we would get better results by devolving power to regions. But that is a very different issue from us separating. What happened within that argument certainly was people who were self-serving and people who were in power saw it as an argument of separation rather than an argument of how can we make government more effective. It was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity because they could have introduced something which reflected, as my colleague says, the aspirations of the individual indigenous groups, giving them more autonomy and strengthening them to actually do things better in their localities for their people.
Let me support you slightly by something that happened during the voting. Yeah. There was this issue of the woman affirmative action vote. If you watch, go back to the clip in the Senate. Actually, it said those who say yeah, nay, say nay. And a few voices came up. Nay. Those who said no, say the entire congregation said no. And the Senate president said yes and entered it. So now, if you go back to that clip, which of course is in circulation already, it is not the wish of the people, even in the Senate, that had come out as though they voted against restructuring. I am against separation of people going to secession, but restructuring is a must, and unless we do restructuring, the country is not going to move anywhere.
Gentlemen, before you go, I would like you to touch on other issues pertaining to Nigeria, because it's not about just the Constitution. On the second half of the program, viewers, we're going to be speaking to Adaku Efuribe, who is a clinical pharmacist and a UNSDG Health Promotion Ambassador. She'll be talking about the negative effect of fake drugs in Nigeria. But I want my guests to comment on one or two issues. First, Acting President Oshibajo has been steering the ship of Nigeria. And you all know, for our viewers who are not Nigerians, it will surprise you that Nigeria has been without its own elected president for about, I'll give you the number of days pretty soon. But the president has been out of the country on medical vacation. He's been here. He's been our guest in the UK. And there's been quite a number of questions asked about the whereabouts of the president. But let me just play you a clip if my producer is ready. The acting president came to the UK, met with the president, and briefed pressmen at the seat of power, Aso Rock. So let's have acting President Oshibajo on his trip to London.
Well, first, as you know, I went to see him to check up on him, find out how he was doing. I had, of course, been speaking to him on the phone, and I thought it would be a good thing to go and see him and, generally check up on how he was doing, and also to brief him on developments back at home. So we had a very good time, had a very good conversation on wide-ranging issues, and he's in very good spirits. He's recuperating very quickly, and he's doing very well.
Your Excellency, can you tell us the state of
Well, as I've said, he's in very high spirits. He's recuperating very quickly. We had a very long conversation. We spoke for well over an hour, and his humor is all there. He's doing well.
Your Excellency, when is he due back?
I think very, very short. Very short. I think we should really expect him back very short. As I said, he's recuperating very fast. He's doing very, very well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What are the issues?
The report, the suspended SGF report.
Okay, viewers, I can now tell you the time is 7:24 p.m. UK time. As they say, GMT is July 28th, Friday. As at now, as I'm speaking to you, Nigerian president has been away for 82 days, 00 hours, 25 minutes, and 7 seconds. He has surpassed Yar'Adua's absence from Nigeria by about 5 days. This has never happened before. The president has been away for 82 days and
this
about
trip or the two?
About 26. On this particular trip, he's been away. This is a countdown. He's been away for 82 days, and as at now, 82 days, 26 minutes, 31 seconds.
Now, put it this way. The whole issue of the president being out of the country for 82 days is again dated back to the bad constitution, which did not envisage a president being sick for this period, and decisions cannot be taken except by members of the Executive Council who was put in place by the president, and as such, we have a lacuna in our hands. Nobody, you and I know, nobody, where I disagree with Jide here on the issue of the 70 years of judges or 75 years as the case may be, nobody prays to be ill. It's not anything anybody wished anybody. But with the situation we have on ground, whether the president is away for 82 days or 200 days will not matter if Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is a sound lawyer, one of the persons I envy and admire, does what he needs to do. Is it being overcautious? Does he have the powers to take decision and he's not taking the decision? Because whatever he does as acting president today stays and is part of the laws of the country. I am not too happy, as one who has looked at him with a lot of respect, that he's not running as fast. Does he have situations that are holding him back from doing what he needs to do? Are Nigerians ready, and are they supporting him with regards to what he needs to do while the president is recuperating before he comes back? Must we hold the entire country and the running of governance to a hold or a standstill because the president is sick? The answer is no. So to that extent, I'm saying Yemi Osinbajo have a date with destiny to run with what he's got.
And Jide, your last word, especially regarding this, the absence of the president for 82 days. Does it feel, you're also based in Nigeria, are Nigerians feeling the impact, either positively or negatively, of the absence of this president for 82 days? And
I will say this. Yeah. It's very strange that this situation is effectively a round two of a previous situation that we experienced. And the truth about it is, you really cannot compare round one and round two. Round two is far better. We have Professor Yemi Osinbajo in place, acting. Yes, I actually agree with my colleague there that in some circumstances, it might feel like his hands are tied, or at least he has one hand tied, and he's not quite running. So, as fast as we wanted to run. But I'm actually quite positive about it. And I'd say this, I am convinced that Nigerians elected President Muhammadu Buhari on the basis of integrity. I think that was the core thing. It wasn't that anybody suddenly decided that he had, he was suddenly going to come up with a burst of energy and change, the country around. It was about integrity. We suffered a situation where people felt the previous administration had lost integrity. So the core thing was integrity. And it so happened that he actually then put underneath him a very, very erudite and very positive, active, intelligent vice president. This man is actually doing, to some extent, in a strange way, I almost think it almost feels like a blessing. I'll say this very quietly. It almost feels like a blessing that we've had to have what is effectively a team play. Nigeria is never going to be turned around within 24 hours. It's going to take a few years of the right people in position. Now, I suppose if you now ask me, what are we going to do in the next term? Absolutely different question, absolutely different issue. But I am quite happy with the performance of the vice president, bearing in mind that politics is not something that you come in and you simply, order breakfast the next morning in your house, like as if you have nobody to consult.
Okay.
He is doing a positive job for Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Jide, we want to thank you for coming on this program. Thank you so much for always being there for us. And the president's absence, Jide is saying, look, things are okay. We have an acting vice president who is acting president now, and we should be happy that he did the right thing. Yar'Adua didn't hand over. They had to almost bring his dead body back home to get Jonathan to become acting president. Should we take some positives from that?
If you ask me, I believe that the president in a state where he is today has done his duty and responsibility as bestowed on him by the Constitution. The responsibility is that of our colleague, the vice president, to run continuously, to do what he ought to do, what the Constitution has empowered him to do without fear or favor, and take Nigeria to where we belong.
Olorogun Gbagi, Kenneth, thank you for being on this program. It's a pleasure to have you. Viewers, don't go away, because the second part is very key to our national health care system. Fake drugs flooded Nigeria many years ago, but it's high on the increase. The next clip you are going to watch is about video on drug trafficking in Nigeria. This video was shot in 2010, but it will amaze you that actually the crisis is multiplying. And we're quite blessed to have an experienced person in the healthcare system. She's a pharmacist, a clinical pharmacist, Adaku Eforibe. She's going to join us in the second part of this program from Sunderland in England. Don't go away. We shall be back soon.
We'll bring you the news tonight on Dan Rather Report. We went to Nigeria to see what their drug enforcement agency, called NAFDAC, is doing to try and reduce the unceasing tide of fake medicine coming into the country.
We have arrested people.
And this is what the war on counterfeits looks like. Just days before we arrived, NAFDAC discovered a large shipment at the airport that was declared as clothing. Inspectors said the packaging was a dead giveaway. Counterfeiters, using a combination of new technology and old-fashioned word of mouth, Nigeria is battling callous and insidious counterfeiting operations. Big pill mills in China and elsewhere that are targeting the most vulnerable. Here by the head of the Nigerian version of the Food and Drug Administration. Dr. Paul Orhi is the Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, called for short NAFDAC. Dr. Orhi, who is both a medical doctor and an attorney, left his family and a quiet life in Houston to return to the country of his birth. His days are quite different now. On this day, Dr. Orhi and his team targeted 2 containers full of anti-malarial medicine that had just arrived from India. Anti-malarials are some of the most in-demand and highly counterfeited medicines in Africa. But in this drug war, the Nigerians bought the newest weapon on the market. Last February, NAFDAC got a high-tech machine that can almost instantly identify fake medicine. It is called the TruScan. Orhi has had to scrape together funding and look for donors to help him buy the machines.
We'll start to look at quality issues as well in manufacturing.
Tom Woods spent years helping African countries get funding to fight diseases as a State Department official and at USAID. He now works in the private sector, putting African government agencies like Dr. Orhi's NAFDAC together with cutting-edge technology makers and the organizations that can help pay for that technology. Woods convinced the Massachusetts makers of the TrueScan to donate 2 of the devices to Nigeria, and he's also working with the World Bank to raise money for more of the machine. The TrueScan, also called a Raman spectrometer, beams a tiny laser at the medicine. It records how the laser light passes through the pill and checks the information against its database.
Viewers, it's still Kayode Ogundamisi on Politics with KO, your station Ben TV. During the first segment of this program, we looked at the state of Nigerian nation, and we were looking at the constitutional reform. We spoke with Kenneth Gbagi and Thomas Jide Oye Tunde, both lawyers. But this part, we're going to be talking about the healthcare system, specifically the issue of fake drugs in Nigeria. So we're privileged to have Adaku Efuribe, who is a clinical pharmacist and a UN SDG 3 Health Promotion Ambassador. Good evening, Adaku. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Kayode. Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Thanks. Thanks for honoring our invitation. First, let me ask you this. First, tell us the role of a pharmacist.
Well, the role of a pharmacist, first of all, I would like to say that a pharmacist is someone that has gone through, well, if it's in Nigeria, 5 years of university study plus 1 year internship and 1 year youth service. So that's 7 years, excluding strike, of course. And a pharmacist is a registered healthcare professional that has the mandate of, that has the license to import, export, manufacture drugs, and also a pharmacist in a clinical setting also gets involved in things like medicines use reviews and other things. And also pharmacists do work in a community pharmacy setting as well. So pharmacists work in different areas of the healthcare sector.
And the UN SDG 3 Health Promotion, can you explain what that is to our viewers?
It's just, you know, when the United Nations had the Millennium Development Goals, and now we have the Sustainable Development Goals. And there are different goals, but the goal 3 centers around health, and it talks about providing health for all at all ages. So it talks about health and well-being of everyone. So it's centered around public health, health promotion, and also patient-centered care, integrated healthcare as well. So it's just about preventing chronic disease conditions and helping people to live a healthy life.
Okay, and in this situation, we're concentrating on the effect of fake drugs. How devastating can it be for a population? Nigeria, we have about 170 million citizens, but it is said that over 60% of the drugs consumed by Nigerians are either fake, adulterated, or expired drugs. How devastating can that be to such population?
Well, that is a very bad statistics for Nigeria. I mean, it's very devastating. Like in 2008, if we can recall, 34 Nigerian children aged between 4 months and 3 years died, and more than 50 were hospitalized with severe kidney damage after taking a teething mixture called My Pikin, and it caused a whole lot of issues at that time, and a lot of people have died through the consumption of fake drugs. And I can recall the former Director General of NAFDAC, the late Professor Dora Akinyele. She once said that, and she described fake drugs and the manufacturing of fake drugs as an act equivalent to mass murder. So it's not just about just manufacturing fake drugs just to gain some profit, but it's actually, it goes a long way that it's just like mass murder, actually. So it's been really bad in Nigeria over the years.
And interestingly, you mentioned the Nigerian drug law. Is it Nigerian NAFDAC?
National Agency for Control of Drugs.
Which is the regulatory body in Nigeria. But despite the establishment of this agency, we know about the marvelous job Dora Akinleye did. Dora Akinleye did. But it seems they are overwhelmed because we still have these fake drugs so rampant in the country. What is mitigating against the performance of such a regulatory agency?
Okay, the major factors facilitating the prevalence of fake drugs in Nigeria include the ineffective enforcement of existing laws. I mean, the laws are great, but when we still have open drug markets all over the place, and we still have people hawking medicines on trays as if they're hawking vegetables and fruits, and when you have non-licensed entities in the forefront of handling medicinal products, I mean, what do you expect? It's going to be disaster at the end of the day. So when we have unqualified, unlicensed vendors, and when we have loose control systems, and a lot of ignorance, corruption, illegal drug importation, I mean, and there's a chaotic drug distribution network. All these have led to the menace we have with fake drugs in Nigeria at the moment.
Okay, and when we talk about fake drugs, the image that comes to mind of most Nigerians and probably our international viewers are Western-made drugs. But the fact is, some local herbs and some concoctions that are made within the country traditionally could be classified as fake drugs, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, because sometimes, I mean, we do have, let me give a very common example, like the drug called Viagra. That's a brand name Pfizer drug, sildenafil, for erectile dysfunction. You see some, I call them non-licensed entities in Nigeria peddling drugs, and they call it herbal Viagra or local Viagra. I mean, Viagra is a licensed drug, branded product from Pfizer. There's nothing like the herbal part of Viagra. Is either you're selling a 100% herbal product, you can't just call it herbal Viagra. There's nothing like herbal sildenafil. So sometimes all those herbal products as well could be fake because we don't know what the ingredients are. We cannot evaluate the ingredients. So sometimes those ones are also the fake drugs causing problem in Nigeria at the moment.
Okay, we focus on Nigeria, but the fact is fake drugs don't exist in Western countries. If you go to Dalston Market, I'm sure if you know the right channel, you can buy skeletons of a dog, a goat, or a monkey. At least we've seen documentary to that effect. Even within our community in the UK, you practice in the UK, you're an expert in this field. Have we come across issues of fake drugs within the UK?
Well, in the UK, what we see here is more of street drugs, I beg your pardon. People buying medicines on the internet and selling in nightclubs and those kind of places. But in a typical UK community pharmacy setting or in the hospital, over the years of my practice in the UK, I have not come across any fake drugs inside those controlled areas at the moment. So, but I do know that there are some fake drug incidents all over the world. About 2004, I participated in the International Pharmacy Federation conference in the US, in New Orleans. And I was really amazed and by what what was discussed around fake drugs in that conference. It talked about the US being involved in the fake manufacturing of cancer drugs, that kind of thing. So it really was like a shock to me because, I mean, if you've got cancer as a patient, you already, maybe you're terminally ill. It would be really, really bad to have a medicinal product that would even make your condition worse. But I have not really come across any fake drug in the community pharmacy or hospital setting in the United Kingdom at the moment.
Now, there are also allegations that Africa seems to be the testing ground for drug manufacturers, where any drug that the Western world or Western drug manufacturers want to put into tests, Africa is the mass laboratory. There are instances in northern Nigeria where some of the pharmaceutical companies were fined. Do Western governments have a responsibility? Because if these drugs are manufactured within this continent and other parts of the world, do they have a responsibility to also look into into this scourge?
Yeah, of course, I do believe they have a responsibility because there is something we call good manufacturing practice, and it's practiced all over the world. I mean, sometimes people get involved in peddling fake products and they dump it in Nigeria, but it is our duty, the duty of the Nigerian government. We've got Yetunde Oni, who is the acting director general of NAFDAC at the moment. Yeah. And I just want to say they have to do more in that area because we need a lot of regulation and we need a lot of well-equipped forensic laboratories so that we can test drugs as well. And we can also make sure that anybody bringing in drugs into the country or medicinal products into the country, that those drugs have been produced in areas that are controlled and they meet the good manufacturing practice criteria practiced all over the world. So it's really important that we take that very seriously.
Okay, one of the things is I see you on social media, you put up videos trying to educate our community, enlighten them about the effect of different drug usage and everything. What has the feedback been, and why did you take on this advocacy?
Well, the reason why I started this advocacy, centered around health promotion, really is because of the trend I saw on social media, and I saw a lot of popular people coming out to ask for help for kidney transplants and things like that. Yeah. So I started thinking about the common man on the streets. I mean, there are some diseases that can be prevented, although some cannot be prevented, some are inherited. But I just felt I should focus on the preventative measures as well, because in a place like Nigeria, where our health system, I beg your pardon, is not working. I mean, for our president to be in London for over 84 years to treat himself, I mean, it's a clear indication. I mean, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that the health system is not working at the moment. Yeah. So I just decided to center my advocacy around prevention because, I mean, like they say, prevention is better than cure. So healthy lifestyles, a lot of healthy lifestyles, like exercise, quitting smoking and controlling alcohol consumption and the rest of them can actually reduce our risk of developing heart attack, heart failure in the future. So that's why I decided to center around health promotion, just the little bit that I can do that people can adapt their lifestyle just to help themselves rather than wait for it to be too late where we don't have enough hospitals or free health care.
What I don't understand is we have a massive network of Nigerians in the UK, or should I say Africans in diaspora working in the UK healthcare system. I was told that if most African nurses, doctors, and medical personnel quit the NHS, it will probably be grounded to a halt. And you wonder, why is there a strong advocacy group, like instead of individuals just doing their bit, people coming together to sort of help the home country?
Yep. That's a good idea. I mean, we have a lot of bottlenecks all over the place. I mean, there's a reason why I started doing this as an individual, because I've been waiting for ages to collaborate with people and it wasn't happening. So I didn't just want to wait forever, but I have some people that I'm collaborating with at the moment. I have some medical doctors in my team, and also we're just trying to do the little we can. But at the moment, we are trying to bring ourselves together in the country so that we can do some community services back home in Nigeria. So that is what it's happening at the moment. But I do understand what you mean. We need to collaborate more, and because together everyone achieves more, really.
And these drugs, are some of the fake drugs manufactured even within Nigeria, adulterated within the country? If that is the case, what can be done to stop this menace, at least within Nigeria?
Okay, I just want to say, there are different levels of fake drugs. Sometimes the preparations can contain the active ingredients, like for instance, like paracetamol, just for an example. If it's a 500 milligram tablet, they could put just 200 milligrams, so it still makes it fake and label it 500. Then sometimes the active ingredients can be missing from the product. I mean, it's just zero active ingredients. And sometimes the products can be manufactured in circumstances that do not meet the good manufacturing practice criteria. Those kind of products can also be classified as fake products. So, I mean, NAFDAC has done a lot, I would say, because before NAFDAC came on board, there was it was Ministry of Health, another department under Ministry of Health handling this. And I did my pre-reg in Ministry of Health, and I had the opportunity to chat with those guys that were running that were regulating drugs in Nigeria before NAFDAC came on board. So I was so inquisitive. I asked, I had to ask them. They were just close to my office. The minister's office was just, very close to my office. So I just asked this particular question: what was happening before the late Darak came on board? I mean, who was controlling fake drugs who was regulating drugs in Nigeria? How come I didn't hear about it? Nobody felt anything about it. And they told me, oh yeah, we were there doing all the work, but we couldn't really do much. So all we need is the right people in the right place to start with. If we have the right qualified people in the right place, then also we need well-equipped forensic laboratories distributed all over the country. I think we have about 7 at the moment. And one was recently launched in Kaduna a few days ago with the support of the United States Pharmacopoeia. And also we need to educate the general public on ways of identifying fake drugs using visual security tools. This is very important. And also we have to do more of advocacy, to create more of, we just have to create awareness, because everybody needs to know that if you're taking a drug that is substandard, you're actually going to harm your organs, your liver, your kidney, and you don't have to buy drugs in an open market without prescription. If there are prescription on the medicines, you have to patronize a registered pharmacy, and you have to speak to the pharmacist as well.
Adaku, I just got a text message coming in. A lot of people are following your conversation. That is how important they view what you're doing. And one of our viewers just asked that I should request of you to provide your contact details. Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a website? Do you have a Twitter handle? Because they would want to follow some of your conversations, and you never know the number of lives we can touch with this advocacy.
Right. Okay, I've got a dedicated Facebook page called Ask Your Pharmacist with Adaku. And it's a page where I do interact with the general public, people from all over the world, especially sub-Saharan Africa is my target audience, because I'm targeting those places where we don't have free healthcare and we don't have access to healthcare. And also I have a Twitter handle at Ask Your Farm Ada as well. So feel free to drop me any message or any questions, or if you want to collaborate with me, if you're a healthcare professional, I'll be more than happy to collaborate with you for some community service.
And I'm going to read out some of the statistics here. It says that nearly $1 trillion worth of drugs are sold annually, and the counterfeit part is probably about 65%, and that is huge. In Nigeria, a counterfeiter is allowed to pay a fine option of 100,000 naira. How could you call that punitive? If I manufacture fake drug worth 10 billion, then I can go away with a fine of 100,000.
I just can't believe this. I haven't seen that statistics. I mean, it's for me to hear this is it's very, very shocking to me at the moment. I mean, we need to do something about it. I mean, the lawyers in the house, I mean, NAFDAC has to do something about this. We need to increase that penalty fee. It needs to be increased. Definitely.
And it also says that the counterfeiting is punishable by imprisonment for between 3 months to 5 years, or an alternative fine of 100,000. Meanwhile, in China, you will probably face execution if you're caught manufacturing a fake drug. Does that not say who we are as a people, how much we place on life? If China would execute fake manufacturers, and I'm sure some of them, well, probably a few of them would manufacture and bring to Africa, but we will give someone a fine of 3 months in prison, or 5 years, or a fine of 100,000. Isn't that ridiculous?
Very ridiculous. I must say, I'm sorry to say this, Kayode, but we don't take health care seriously in Nigeria. I mean, that is that's a well-known fact. We don't take healthcare seriously in Nigeria. I mean, I've been talking about alcohol consumption for a long time. We do take a lot of alcohol, and we don't look at the units, things like that. So I mean, we just don't take it seriously. We just wait till we fall ill before we now start running helter skelter. For that sort of thing to be in place means that the people that have the responsibility of making this decision are obviously not taking healthcare seriously in Nigeria. That's just it.
Okay, I would want you to just spell out those details, or your contact details again before we round up. If you could do that quickly, yeah.
Okay. The Facebook page I'm running at the moment for health promotion and campaigning, advocating for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3 is Ask Your Pharmacist with Adako. And my Twitter handle is at Ask Your Pharm Ada.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Ada. Thank you. You're doing a great job, and we are more than happy from Ben TV to support anyone within our community who is trying to uplift our society and lift our community from such scourge, particularly women. I want to thank our producers, Tony Uche, and our special guest, Manuela, who is joining us on behalf of the Portuguese community in the UK. We are all one people. And Toby, we didn't forget you. Thanks for being there for us. So our executive producer, Alistair Sheride, we remain strong. We go survive. May Nigeria be better than yesterday and our future forever be good. We will overcome these challenges. Good night. God bless you.